Okay, let's talk about malware. Really? Do we really need to talk about malware? If you've been following the series at all, you know how I feel about malware and how we get malware. The problem is that the attackers are getting so tricky in how to deploy malware that it's really hard sometimes to determine what is real malware, what is an application that's just been modified by injecting their piece of malware inside of our application, and what's happening as far as the application writers are concerned. Sometimes we start off with an application that doesn't seem too bad, but then they go to the dark side. And again, when you think about all the different applications we have installed on our mobile devices, to be honest with you, I think it's probably more than what I have on my PC. Now, I will say this about applications on the mobile platform, and that is they do help us as far as making sure we're not susceptible to some vulnerabilities that a website might give us. Now, I know that we might go to a website, but for example, Delta, for me to book flights, instead of going to the website and hoping they're not compromised, how about if I just go to their app, and because their app is sandboxed, and hopefully I'm secure, because I haven't been stupid, then my communication with Delta is a lot more reliable. Now, you've heard this saying before from me, and that is, there is no patch for human stupidity. We all know that our applications that we get through the app stores are typically safe. But guess what? Yeah, there was something out there that was called Droid Dream. And Droid Dream was basically distributed through third-party application marketplaces. And it allowed the user to go through and install, and you got the application, but guess what else you got? You got applications that were repackaged with the Droid Dream malware on it. So whenever you're installing an application, folks, watch the permissions, and let me show you something here. Here I am on my Android device, my phone here. I'm going to go to the Play Store, and I'm going to just come up here real quick, and I'm going to check to see if I have any updates. Oh, I've got several updates. Some of them are Google updates. I got my Hilton updates. There's this really cool company called Pluralsight. Let's take a look at the update for Pluralsight here. A lot of times people will come in, actually what will happen is that when we see updates, a lot of folks just come in and select update all, and they don't really pay attention to what's happening. Well, the application itself or the vendor could start off all innocent, for example, maybe a game. But over time, through updates, they might require more permissions just because they want to be a little devious. Now, Pluralsight's not that way. Let's go ahead and take a look. And if I scroll down here, I'm going to take a look at scrolling. The permission details. And it tells me that it needs Wi-Fi connectivity as well as other, possibly through my network connections and full network access. Well, I have to think about what Pluralsight does. It streams video learning for me, right? And in order for me to watch it, it's going to have some type of connectivity. So that's okay with me. So I'm going to come back up here. We'll go ahead and update this bad boy. Now, it tells you here that it doesn't require any special permissions or any additional permissions. This helps to warn you of when an application is changing the permissions that you gave it initially. You have to. This is part of the social engineering aspects of hacking, is that we have this tendency of just hitting accept. Read my lips. Now read the pop-ups, folks. So we'll go ahead and take that. Looks like that worked. We'll back up here. Let's take a look at the Hilton app here. See if they're going to require any new special updates. We're going to again scroll down, and I'm going to go down here to the bottom. This is just the steps I go through by habit. Okay, so what does Hilton want to do? Identities. They want to find accounts on this device. Now, they want to do that because my Hilton account is related to my email account, so it's looking for those accounts. Also, location. This is so that when I'm looking for a Hilton hotel, they can tell me where the closest one is. The phone, so I can dial that hotel. It wants access to photos, media file/files, where it can modify or delete the contents of my SD card. Now, this is so that I can save pictures of the hotel, because maybe I'm going to show my wife a little bit later on the hotel that we're going to. The Bluetooth connection information they want access to kind of has me a little concerned here, except for it is Hilton, meaning it's a pretty big company. They're not going to do anything to put their whole company in jeopardy. And again, I'm going to be taking a look at the fact that this Hilton Honors came from Hilton and not Billy Bob's Hilton Honors application. The only thing I can assume here is that since it needs access to my phone, if I have a Bluetooth headset, they want to be able to access that as well. And then it has some other permissions, like they need full network access, they need to prevent the phone from sleeping, pair with Bluetooth devices. Yeah, see, that one's kind of worrying me a bit, and I don't know why. I'd have to go back and take a look. I don't use every aspect of the app, and so I probably want to go back and take a look to see what it's supposed to be doing here. And same thing with it's mentioning here again the accounts on the device. Let's back out of this. So I'm going to scroll back up here. I also typically will look at reviews of an application. A lot of times people will say, hey, I don't know why they want this access to this resource. and I'll question it. But I'm going to come up here and take a look. Looks like one of the things they added is being able to get restaurant nightlife suggestions from Uber. Let's go ahead and take a look at the app here a little bit more because I want to figure out why Bluetooth. Oh, yeah, because they're doing their new digital key access. You can actually use your phone, Bluetooth, to unlock your door. So we'll update that bad boy. So here's an example of a game that I would be very leery of. I'm not going to show you the name of the game because I don't want to get sued. But the permission here that's kind of throwing me here is the location permission. They want to know approximate location, network-based, precise location, GPS, and network-based for a game. Now, I get it. What they're probably using this for is so that they can market. They probably have some ads since it's a free version of the game. They're going to have some ads come up, and they wanted to know where I'm located so they can focus those ads based off my location. However, the other issue that I have here is the Wi-Fi connection as well as the view network connections. Not just Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi I could understand because, again, maybe they're going to download those ads, but I guess maybe they're assuming they need to use up my data that I pay for to get me those ads. I know it's not a ton of information, but I'm just kind of leery about this because I don't want them to see when I'm online and when I'm offline. So I normally don't try to play favorites when it comes to applications or try to tell you what to use, but I do get a lot of people ask me, Dale, how do you handle it? Well, this is one of the applications I enjoy. It's called All-in-One Toolbox, and I don't get anything from these guys. But one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the toolbox. The reason why I like this is because it has this nifty little plugin that you can get that's called the Permissions Check plugin. So as an example, I've got 8 apps that are requiring SMS permissions. I can come in here, Mighty Text. This is a nifty little program I use so I can text from my computer and it goes through my phone, so I get that. SMS for PayPal, I get that because I'm going to get text messages from PayPal about purchases. Gear Provider, Go Providers, which is for my watch so that when I get a text message, it can send it to my watch. I've also got Google Voice, GroupMe. All these really pretty much make sense to me as far as why they would need access to SMS. Again, this is just a great little app that gives me a quick glance. What's also nice is that if you suspect something like maybe I say, I don't know why PayPal wants permission. It shows me the permission, and here's the warning here. It wants access to Wi-Fi as well as to read my contacts as well as my messages, or it wants to be able to send SMS messages. So from here, I can just simply uninstall the app. Now, granted, I could go through and look at each application and their permissions one at a time on my phone. This is, again, just a nifty app that puts everything in one place for me, which is kind of cool. That's cool, Dale. So one of my tips for you is that not only watch your permissions on your applications, but do a little research. Find out what other people are saying about the application, not necessarily on the review page for that app, because believe it or not, they have people that post positive comments and they're paid to post those comments. But I know, you really want the app, just install it. What could it possibly harm? Which maybe I should send you one of my own apps.